All right, welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. This is Noah.
This is Jesse.
This is Marissa.
Hi, Marissa. You are a special guest on our show tonight.
I feel special.
You look
are
like
special.
You look just like Daphne.
Yeah, are you Daphne? Are you sure your name's not Daphne?
After tonight, I am not sure.
Brian disappeared with the red head, and then he's gone again. And
we don't know. Like, we got to find out who this Daphne person is that took him.
What the hell, Brian?
Yeah, Exactly.
We saw a bright light. We were at Stranahans. It was a great, tasting.
It was a great time. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, bright light, and he's gone.
Yeah, so we went to Stranahans, right? Yeah, great tasting. Have you been to Stranahans before?
I have not.
Okay, but it's it's a distillery. You kind of went to a distillery before, though. You said
I did in Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so I think it sounds kind of similar. Basically, we went in there, did a tasting. You said you did tasting there as well. Okay. So, and when we walked out, all of a sudden,
bright light, no Brian.
And Brian's gone.
And so we didn't know what to do. We were a little lost because we're like, man, how do we replace this key person? And then we looked over and we're like, hey, do you want to be on Scotch Hour and be the potential tiebreaker? And the answer was?
Full send, hard yes.
Full send, hard yes.
There we go.
Boom.
And that's how we ended up with our special guest on Scotch Hour.
That was my possibly probed gesture.
Yeah, Brian said he didn't like the probe the first time he got abducted and disappeared, and then
was he that alien? Was he the guy who got abducted in New Mexico that caused rain and Godzilla clothes?
Yeah, we wanted the world's best gourmet hamburger, and then all of a sudden we found out we couldn't have one because somebody got probed and the rain was falling so hard.
What's happening right now? It's raining right now.
Oh, Brian, you better not mess with the man's hamburger. Not cool, bro.
Definitely not cool, bro.
Especially since he got his bratwurst at Stranahans and we didn't.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, he ate the weenie.
He ate the weenie.
All I can think of is Burger Hole from that movie.
Burger Hole and eating the weenie.
All right.
16 and older.
All right. So I know Noah's going to introduce this. We are very excited to speak about the first competition, the first duel in our bracket.
Before we do that, I think we should do our shout outs real quick.
Okay.
And then we jump into the scotches, and then we can jump into our topic as well. So we just
sounds amazing.
It'll just be like Game of Thrones, full pedal to the metal once we get started.
Here's the real issue. We've never had the other chromosome on Scotch Hour, and we don't know how to handle it. All
right, so real quickly, over the past week, we were able to go to Stranahans, which is a single malt American whiskey distillery. It was a gift for my birthday from my mom for us all three to go to it. You, myself, Brian, before he was abducted by the aliens. And so what was your take on the Stranahan tasting?
It was a fun experience. Everything has its interesting intricacies, and we went in. They run a good operation. I think is more than fair to say. We let them know we were there. They let us know we can go have a beverage while we were waiting for our tasting. We went and had our drink. I had a great old fashioned, and the drinks were great. And then we started the tasting. She did a nice job, but I really have nothing negative to say. It was a great learning experience, and it also let me know we actually do okay here on Scotch Hour.
I would agree. I love the atmosphere there. I thought it was really cool. We'll put up some pictures about what it looked like in the inside. I thought how they had like all those oak barrels up and stuff like that. I thought that was way cool. The tasting,
The butts.
Yeah, the butts. I thought the tasting itself was lacking. I'm not sure because, for her, I think she did a good job who was running the tasting. It was her second time ever doing it. However, she didn't really cover the tasting notes on the different whiskeys that we were trying. And being that that's what we do here, right? We try different scotches, and we kind of talk about the flavors that we get and what we should be getting out of it. And it just seemed like she just spent some time at the beginning talking about the first one. And after that, she's like, well, whatever you taste is what you taste. Everyone has different taste buds. And I'm like, I think Stranahans, if you're trying to do do yourself justice. That probably wasn't the best way to do it. I think your establishment's cool. I love what you have going on there, but I think if you're going to be giving out tastings like that, you should probably make sure you have someone who's probably a little bit more seasoned, other than just handle drunk idiots.
Which was not us, actually. It was the other 9 guys in the room.
Exactly.
Yeah, I felt bad for her.
I don't know, Brian, Marissa, the Brian stand-in tonight, or the guest host. If you want, do you want to read Brian's comment?
Brian, you look so much more attractive.
I enjoyed the outing. The atmosphere, learned a couple new ways to taste whiskey, but I think we do a better job describing our scotch.
Amen, brother. Amen.
As she does an ode to Brian smelling the microphone.
I'm just trying to keep it.
Trying to keep it real.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it Brian.
Yeah. Where's this microphone been?
Where has that microphone been?
Snap.
Probe.
Anal probe.
It's a big mic.
So, you did say you did go to one in Michigan. So how did that tasting go? What did you think about them?
I actually really appreciated the atmosphere. It was a very industrial decor, if you will. So it wasn't necessarily so old timey. It wasn't like a speakeasy, which are usually dark and a little bit more low key. So they had that nailed down, I think, to grasp the attention of the young and the old, if you will. And then both of the sexes. They had a gift shop that had, spices, and then they also had actual liquor for sale. So it kept people using up their time wisely while they waited for their tour. And then we got to go downstairs and actually see the mechanics of the, what are they called? Is it a cistern?
Stills.
Stills. And I was actually surprised at how, I don't want to use the word basic, but, I kind of got the feeling like, man, I could probably do this in my bathtub.
Yeah,
after
making meth, whiskey be easy.
But there were only a few components. To be honest, I was a little shocked at how much can come from.
All right, so that's our next step here. Now that you've been a guest host, now we're going to start making our own whiskey.
I'm telling you, I think that might work out. Anyway, long story
the first
longer.
Batch.
It was cool, and our tasting, the guy seemed very invested. He actually was an owner, or he was a stakeholder. So it was. And they also had some haunted house story, like the distillery was haunted.
That's kind of cool.
I mean,
check out the skull behind me. So obviously that's kind of cool. And plus, I always talk about in my insurance classes about how Santa Claus decapitates Grandpa's head. So
that's a big head, big mic, big head.
I liked the history though component. So I don't know what your experience was, but I think that helps because there is a history behind all of this.
Yeah, I agree. She did give us a little bit of a history about Stranahans, which was pretty interesting, I would say.
It was.
All right.
It's funny how it almost always starts, at least here in America, with bootlegging.
Right.
Right. We never start legitimate. We just end that way.
Look at the Kennedys, right? When the Kennedys are
let's talk about the American Revolution. We will be our own. Snap.
It started the mafia.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so how about dinner? Dinner was great. I gotta give out, a huge thank you to you two.
Yeah,
and and then freaking Anthony, he came in like a champ.
Anthony, you the man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No, go ahead.
No, it was just great. We got there right on time, definitely during the dinner rush, and we were going to have a few minute wait as the table they were preparing for us. The previous group was just finishing up, and Anthony came out totally respectful. Was great at saying, hey, I'm sorry, you're probably going to have to wait 5 minutes. Now, this is literally what he's telling us. You're probably going to have to wait, like 3 to 5 minutes, but I'm going to buy a drink. It's on me. And we're all sitting there, and it's just like, what do you mean? Like, what kind of a drink? Diet Coke? What? And no, we went with high-end old
whiskey sour.
Whiskey sours, and
I asked for a Macallan. And I ended up getting a Highland Park 18.
Highland Park 18. And this was all on the house. And when he said 3 to 5 minutes, the guy wasn't kidding. We were waiting no time at all. 5 minutes later, we're sitting with our delicious drinks. That was an amazing whiskey sour, probably the best I've ever had. And we're sitting at our table, and I think we were all kind of still like, man, Anthony, thank you. Great service. And that continued throughout the night. So which is the best way to start a night.
But I don't think we ever said where we went. Did we?
Oh, yeah, no. Buckhorn Exchange.
Buckhorn Exchange.
That's right. So Buckhorn Exchange, one of the oldest restaurants in Colorado, and they also have the first liquor license still posted on their wall. First liquor license ever given in Colorado. So yeah, a little bit of our own Colorado history, which is great, right in our backyards here in Denver. And what a fun experience.
Yeah, Marissa, do you have anything you want to add to this?
No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I would like to add the caveat, though. If you don't know where it is, maybe investigate that thoroughly.
Not a
prior to getting in the car in the rain and attempting to get there in a timely fashion.
So we all basically had the same dinner.
Yeah.
So I'll let you go first. Yeah, you go first.
So elk and bison. The bison was, I think we all got medium rare.
Yes.
Yep. On both, but the bison had a garlic butter sauce to die for. And to be honest, you didn't need a knife. You didn't.
No, it's all part.
And then additionally, there was a cranberry sauce, I believe, a cab cranberry something.
Demi-glaze.
Not a chef, ratatouille. Yeah, it was delicious. On the elk.
On the elk. Oh gosh, that was so good.
And I don't know when the last time is I had elk, to be honest. So it wasn't at the forefront of my mind, but I can tell you that I cleaned the plate and I got mashed potatoes.
No, you're next.
Yeah, so same thing basically, except that instead of getting mashed potatoes, I got a loaded baked potato. And loaded. But the baked potato was actually it was probably one of the better baked potatoes I've ever had, which is kind of weird because you think baked potato is baked potato. It had cheese, you put sour cream, butter, and some chives on it, and you're good to go. But there was something, I'm not sure if it was from the orange slice that was on the actual plate itself, or if there's some kind of orange that was actually put into the baked potato. But that hint of orange with that baked potato and everything you mix up in it made it just taste incredible.
Yeah, and the price is all very reasonable. The cab we enjoyed, Louis Martini from Napa, you can't go wrong with that. Amazing. My dinner was the same as Noah's. The baked potato, I agree. Noah and I were joking during dinner and after dinner, really for me, because going into it, we both enjoyed the proteins, the meats first. So the elk and the bison. And then we ventured into the baked potato. And man, my plate was cleared. And Noah's looking at me and he's like, man, where'd your potato go? Did you swallow that whole? It was delicious. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I think I was ahead of you. I had all my meat done. I had all my
green beans.
Yeah, green.
Also delicious.
Yeah, the green beans are also delicious. And then I was eating my potato. Next thing you know, boom, his plate's gone. I still had some green beans left. I'm like, dude, what happened?
It was amazing.
I really appreciate too that when we asked Talia, our waitress,
nice job, Talia,
who did an amazing job. It was really straightforward.
It was.
So you didn't. If you ask questions, I've been to restaurants before where they say, "Oh, it's a steak, thus and so," and I'm thinking one thing and I get another. And I'm not saying it's not good or bad, but I really felt like what was suggested and explained is exactly what was received on the plate and then some. So.
Yeah,
hats off to that.
And also, seasonally, one of the things they have is the rattlesnake nachos. It was not on the menu this evening, so we asked about the alligator, and we went the calamari, and she was very honest, though. She's like, to be honest, the alligator tastes like chicken, which was enough for us to say we'll stick with the calamari.
Exactly. So overall, I give it an A+, atmosphere A+, the wait staff A+, the overall treatment A+, because here's the thing. I don't know what happened. It's just weird. But when we were told that we're going to wait the 3 to 5 minutes and he offered us to, buy us our drinks, on the house. The group ahead of us didn't get drinks. The groups behind us didn't get drinks. But we, oddly enough, were the ones who did get drinks. So.
Yeah, and Anthony, again, thank you. You made our night. You made it great. It started out perfectly because of that. And maybe you saw it on our faces. We were all like, man, we just went 3 different directions with 3 different map systems, taking us all the wrong ways, heading back on I-25, Broadway, Santa Fe. Like, literally, these were all different ways our maps took us during rush hour. And maybe he saw it on our face. So if that's the case, Anthony, anyway, and we've got a picture. We've got a picture of Anthony here. Handsome young man. Thank you very much for these drinks. You definitely started our evening out perfectly.
Yeah, he did say he was the GM there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much, Anthony. You did an awesome job.
Yeah.
If you are watching this and you do happen to go to what is it called,
Buckhorn Exchange.
Buckhorn Exchange. Let them know that you heard about them on Scotch Hour. Once again, you're not going to get a discount. We don't get a kickback or anything like that, but it just helps get our name out there. And I would imagine hopefully Anthony might remember us.
Yeah, he was great. And also, if you have the time or leave some time, if you go through the restaurant and look at some of the history, you'll find out many presidents have visited that establishment. Many of them earlier presidents, of course, are hunters. And one thing here is you're going to see a lot of furs, pelts, mountings on the wall, bears. As you'll see, Noah and I enjoying our own photo session with a couple of bears. You will see that throughout there, but it's a piece of American and also especially Colorado history.
Yeah.
I think they had an undead monkey.
Undead?
Well, I think it winked at me.
Haunted.
Maybe that was on the way out.
Oh, maybe.
That was a White Walker monkey.
That was a White Walker monkey?
Soon to come October.
Are you talking about the monkey that's like above the door?
Yeah. Did it high five you too?
No.
Oh.
It was combing her hair.
Pretty bird.
They killed Petey. What'd you do? I sold him to the kid downstairs.
If you do go there, ask for Talia, your waitress.
Yeah, Talia did a wonderful job. She really did. Thank you guys so much for a great experience. Really appreciated it.
Okay, so that gets all that stuff out of the way. Now it's all. Let's get all that stuff out to the side and done with. Now it's actually about what we're here to talk about, which is our Game of Thrones. This is our first tete-a-tete.
Step 1 in the ultimate battle royale.
So Jesse, what do we? Oh, just before you do that, also let's have her draw.
Absolutely.
Are you helicoptering the drawing?
Yeah, I'm trying to mix it up. I don't know.
Just checking. Am I supposed to read it or just pull it out?
Yeah, go both. Yeah, read it.
You gotta pull it out before you can read it.
Endings.
Oh, terrible moving or show endings.
Okay. So,
or books.
Yeah,
or comics.
Terrible endings to TV shows, terrible endings to movies, or terrible endings to book series. All right. So that's what we'll be talking about, and then we'll correlate that to Game of Thrones and what are the two.
Here today in the first step of the battle royale, we have the Cardhu Gold Reserve House Targaryen versus the Night's Watch Oban. And I can tell you what, this Oban Bay Reserve, man, it's already got my vote. Now you get the canisters.
You haven't even tried the other one.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we talked about this, the hot blonde versus the
Jon Snow
bastard child.
I know you and I probably like the hot blonde, but I don't know.
Yeah, Marissa, who's the better character, the hot blonde?
Well, it's a reference to Scooby-Doo, but let's face it, he wasn't exactly the blonde. He wasn't sharp in Scooby-Doo.
The brother or the sister?
I'm not into blonde. No, blonde doesn't do it for me.
All right.
So I guess.
So oddly enough, she doesn't want the blonde woman. She'll stick with the bastard child, Jon
so you
Snow.
go Jon
sorry, Jon. Yeah, I'll take Jon Snow over some rando blonde. Yes, please.
We're talking about the Targaryen chick.
She rode dragons.
Still, just I'm
The
not
mother
playing
of
Brian
dragons.
tonight. Oh, we saw her naked.
I still want to know how the one episode he watched, he found that one.
Because she's naked
He's
in the
like-
first. I think she's like naked in the first like 5 episodes.
No, she's only naked in one.
No, she's not.
Maybe I forgot something.
Dude, the first one's like she's taking a bath. Next one's like he's like riding her.
She
like
walks out of that fire hut.
Yeah, that's
I
like,
missed so much. I apparently was focused on the dragons. These people over here, something else. So the first bottle, House Targaryen, the Cardhu Gold Reserve versus the Night's Watch Oban Bay Reserve.
Did we even really think about this well enough? Did we get enough glasses?
Yeah, 3 and 3.
Okay.
And man, just saying. I mean,
I don't know what we're doing.
I'll drink it out of a boot.
don't tempt us. So,
That's
what what do you guys think? Which bottle?
I'll tell you what. Looks wise,
To be honest, I think
think
it's
the
the
Oban.
blonde.
you like the blonde one.
The bottle?
That's a pretty good. I'm
The
not gonna
Oban, I
lie.
can't see the color. Like,
I love the black and silver.
well, I mean, I'm not
Black and silver, black and silver.
I'm not an aficionado of anything, but you're right. It looks chic. The black looks very chic.
Yeah.
But me being a novice coming in, when I was Googling and trying to, have a repertoire of looking at Scotch, drinking Scotch, it's all about color. What color is that Oban? Is it that color?
It's a light gold
Well, it looks a little darker
based
than
on
that.
previous experience.
I'm just saying.
So, is there anything that we need to read about these? Like, do you want? Like, I don't know, like in the first or second episode when we actually reviewed the Night's Watch, you read the whole Night's
mean-
Watch thingy bob.
Let's face it, we've got 2 amazing scotches here. We're going to jump right in. Tempest Fugit, time flies. Here's the only question. Which one are we going to start with?
Well, I think you should probably pour them into both, right?
All right.
Pour them both, and then we can see which one we like more.
I'm sorry, does this say I am the sword in the darkness?
Pretty much.
It's do you remember like when they go out to the old forest or whatever outside the wall? That's the oath that they read, that they say to the old gods,
Okay.
that you can barely read because it's like black on black.
Because I'm black on black. Dun, dun, dun,
AC/DC?
I think those are the words.
It's close enough.
Do you want this?
Yes.
I don't know where to put my hands.
I got an idea.
That's what she said.
All right. Targaryen.
Is this pass it to the left or? Oh. Never mind.
And here in Vegas, the odds are about a 500 to 1 that the Oban Nights Watch is going to win. Which is why we had to bring in the tiebreaker.
I mean, you never know. One of us might actually flip our vote.
This actually is really screaming some fall vibes at me.
Fall
Some
vibes.
autumn.
Are you getting like that Granny Smith apple or the?
Like red apple, I would say.
Okay. Would you say almost like maybe even like some like a caramelized apple from like the fall, like when you go like?
Well, remember when you told me I really needed to get my nose in it, and I'm like, if anyone can do that, it would be me with this.
I don't remember telling you to get your nose in. I remember we were talking about wine.
Oh.
And smelling wine.
Well, that's what I heard.
Okay. Get your nose in there. Or unless
Put
you're
your
like,
back into it.
or unless you're like Brian, you can just like Eskimo kiss the microphone.
Yep, I smell apple.
I smell a legend being born.
So
That's
what did
the
you do this
afterbirth.
week, Brian? I Eskimo kissed my microphone.
What's her name?
Mike.
Holy snap.
All right, I digress. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Brian.
Scott
You're
right
not
there.
here. You're not here, Brian.
Edit.
A.K.A. Daphne. All right.
Wait, so could we talk about how this is supposed to go?
Yeah.
Do we have a? I don't think we have
Here's the
Is it
first step.
formulaic or?
Going after the Cardhu Gold Reserve. First thing we really do is look at the color. And then when you're doing two, feel free to compare the colors.
the colors almost look almost exactly the same.
It's pretty darn identical. Then we helicopter it.
Helicoptering.
If
Lightly.
anyone can do it, it's you two experts. I'm, on the other hand, not doing
Years
well.
of practice.
How do you...
If you just sit right down on the table.
Yeah. Centrifugal force? Oh, yeah.
Is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. This one's not really...
The Stranahans a little bit harder to get it swirling.
It is a little bit harder.
Well, it's because it's got a
I'm
shorter-
left-handed, though, too. Red
got
hair,
a
left-handed.
shorter
So
pole.
maybe this is my strong arm.
The Cardhu though, it's pretty easy to helicopter. The Stranahan, I'm not sure. The Oban here and the Stranahan.
This one almost seems like it does have a little more
viscosity.
viscosity to
almost
it.
thicker. And that's the Oban
The Oban, yeah.
Nights Watch Bay Reserve.
Yeah, I in the Cardhu again. I'm just telling you, in the Cardhu, I'm getting like that apple again.
Absolutely. Followed with, as we talked about, it's almost that burnt caramel. All right.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Try the Cardhu.
Did we just sip?
Oh, you can sip. We can clank. We just play it by ear here. We just make it up as we go along. That apple hits.
It certainly slaps at the front.
Yep. Whoop, whoop.
And now it's slapping at the back. Just kidding.
Not quite sure what that sounds like. Whoop, whoop.
I think
Don't ride the pony. What is that? What it is from Happy Gilmore? When he's like hopping around
I'm
on
a
his,
pony. No.
I mean, he's
His
like
happy
slapping-
dance? Yeah.
he's like slapping the,
His happy dance?
he's like riding it like a horse or pony or whatever.
Stick horse.
Exactly.
What is it that's coming through after the apple, though?
Besides the burnt caramel,
Yeah, like at the dead end. Almost on the back of my tongue. Like it's sticking around. What does that mean?
that's the spice or the clove.
Yeah, that's probably the clove.
The clove. Clove.
Yeah, so like this really has like a very powerful front palate. The mid palate doesn't really seem to be too existing there. It just goes like high front, at least in my opinion, high front. And then it does have like the back end. It doesn't really hit in the back end, but it does.
It's
It's
lingering.
it's lingering. It just hangs around that clove.
It's not bad by any means.
No, it's a good bottle. I mean, I'll say this again. Like when we had the Cardhu 12, that surprised me immensely. And then this one this one's pretty good. I actually like it. And you're not really a Scotch drinker, right?
I'm not, but I will tell you right now that this I feel I could handle.
It's an easy drink.
It's not. I'm not having to struggle through it. I didn't get the shakes when I took my first
Didn't
drink. I'm not breathing fire, although it
Not
is
twitching.
the Targaryen. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
They took the
Sometimes,
formaldehyde out. You can still see tomorrow.
Yeah. But I imagine it's still high octane. So you're going to,
About 43,
We are sitting at 40%,
40.
a little bit lower than
a little
average,
lower.
maybe that's why it's not giving me the
which is
chest hair that standardly Scotch puts on me. Yeah.
It's going to put hair on your chest.
all
kid.
right. We're moving on.
Okay.
Just your try out, kid.
We're going to progress to the Oban Little Bay Reserve.
Little Bay.
I'm nervous.
You didn't say Little Bay, did you?
Probably. But it's the Oban Bay Reserve.
Bay Reserve, yeah.
I probably did say Little Bay. Ever since your birthday, I can't stop thinking about the Oban Little Bay.
Little Bay was great.
Ooh, the nose on this.
Woo, arm hair.
She's getting the twitches now.
Yeah. So we found out the twitches start for her at 43% alcohol. 40% smooth sailing. 43.
And they say 3% doesn't make a big deal.
Yeah, right? 3 inches. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Immediately tasting the cherry.
The cherry.
Mm-hmm.
I got to. Okay.
Has a nice like sea salt finish.
Oh, the sea salt finish is my favorite, but much like our baked potatoes at the Buckhorn Exchange, that cherry quickly fades to me into that orange peel flavor. Ah, divine.
She's like, "Are you crazy? I get none of that. What are you getting?"
Turn.
Yeah. Wasted.
Never drink and drive. Don't drink so much you can't drive.
Don't worry. I can barely get a sip down. I definitely can taste the salt that you're speaking of. And I would say that is more of a midway. It's not something you have to wait long for.
No, it's midway to finish.
I did not catch the cherry, but that could be because it was almost like I was wafting pure gasoline at first. And so I didn't.
Here's one thing you might try. Hold it about an inch from your nose and mouth and inhale with your mouth open.
Now, there it is.
Yep. It's like a dark cherry with slight oak.
Yeah, no, the finish and the oak, I agree. The finish is where I taste that oak again with that sea salt.
Yeah.
And oh man, like all my favorite wines. And
you know, this is a tough battle here because honestly, I do like that the apple and the Cardhu, but
Night Watch is falling.
No, I do like that sea salt finish with the Oban. You know when you smell like wet
Hamster?
oak. No, I was gonna say like when you get like the like wet oak or even like some wet leather, like wet leather or even some wet oak. I think on the Oban you can really catch that. It's almost like that nice earthy tone to it.
I don't get a ton of the leather, but I absolutely get the charred oak. Well, we have some time to decide, deliberate, drink.
Yeah, can we vote after?
Yeah, after we've had a chance to move on. All right, so we talked about the Smarter Challenge, the challenge drawn this evening.
Smarter Challenge.
Smarter Challenge. You got to come up with a saying, Smarter Challenge. Come up with a voice. Smarter Challenge.
Anyways.
You can do like the alligator hunter. Smarter Challenge, mate. I think that's more of the lizard hunter.
She's like,
you're trying to convince me to say smarter, and meanwhile, I feel like it's not going in that direction. It's like sort of veering right at that.
Think about my phone. How would the British chick say it? Smarter Challenge, mate.
Smarter Challenge, Governor.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that was actually pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Made me think of The Gentleman. Man, now you're going to have, someone running through the background with some emerald tablets. Hey. Who is that?
Matthew McConaughey.
Damn.
The older I get, they stay the same age.
Wow.
Also, Matthew McConaughey, when you're ready to make a guest appearance on the show, Brian won't disappear for the same reason.
Ready. He's doing his pound chant, which
Matthew McConaughey, right?
Yeah.
It's actually intended to move you into next levels with the eat. Yeah.
All right. Smarter challenge. Movies, TV shows, books, life events that
So,
had
first
a
of
terrible
all-
ending.
Yeah, terrible endings, right? So I think we probably should set this up by talking about like the terrible ending from Game of Thrones.
I didn't think it was terrible. I think from like episode or season 5, I'm like, this ends.
But did you really think
Yes.
the crippled kid was going to be the head of the king, the Six Kingdoms?
There was something very prolific about his role, the fact that he survived Jaime Lannister pushing him out the window for love. And
And did he manipulate everybody so that he could become king?
you never know. We don't know because the author never finished the books.
Well, that's true, but we're talking about the TV series here at this point.
In the TV series, though, once again, it ended exactly like I thought it should. Not like I wanted it to, but like I thought it should. Stark,
The Starks won.
Jon Snow, is really who I'm referring to as Stark. But Jon Snow ended up exactly where I thought he would, watching the White Wall after the White Walkers were all killed. Good role, mate. And the best thing you did, though, and oh man, cheers to you, your wife. Getting that wife out of that show.
So-
High five.
In real life, the redhead?
Yeah,
The wildling.
yeah, she's pretty hot.
Like, you're watching the show, Brian, this is the episode you need to watch and wonder, like, wow, they make that look like they're really in love.
Because they are, but
Look at those dreamy
I'm not sure if
eyes.
Brian's ever been able to see it. He's hanging out with the aliens and stuff,
Probing for more.
Full send.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Bigger mic.
All right,
So,
even though you might have liked it, you're probably one of the rare few.
I don't think I liked it. It's not what I would have chosen had I had my way. I would have actually had the Lannisters win, be victorious. I know.
Oh, you're hemming and hawing here. So what do you
Well-
think about the ending of the Game of Thrones?
I don't want to be put on the spot here, but I felt like I was a little let down. I was a lot let down just because I'm thinking, now what? Like, all your sagacious wisdom, kid, is great and has helped us along our way. But at this juncture, the Lannisters, like, all of the dangers and the things that would have been useful for also went away in my mind. So at that point, I'm like, cool, but now I need someone who can actually yield a sword. I need someone who can actually feed us. I need someone who actually doesn't need to be wise as a prize, but needs to be able to, like, take care of the masses, which we come full circle to Ned Stark.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
And so that was a disappointment to me. And then to your point with the Lannisters, no. They had their chance. No. That
They
guy
took
reminds
it.
me of the guy with the wooden hand in, what's that bowling movie? Kingpin.
Munson.
Kingpin.
He got Munson.
He got Munsoned. And once you're Munsoned, you're out.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that in Kingpin, he actually wasn't out. He became the victor.
In Happy Gilmore, we also have an appendage that gets taken away. And
Yeah,
I'm not
but
saying,
Alligator. Yeah.
There's no way he really survived the Predator movie. Let's face it, the guy was dead.
but the Lannisters, so they were already at the top, and you watch them fall. And there's something to be said about the Stark family because they were humble.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about like the houses there, I think what happened with the Starks, or at least with Ned and how he taught his kids, I think he instilled a very good moral code with all of them that held true all the way through, and that's what got them through all the ups and downs and all the turmoil that they had to go through.
And furthermore, and I love the imp.
Oh, the amp was awesome. I liked. Yeah,
But let's
Bring
face
out the
it.
imp.
Let's face it. Spoiled,
yeah.
wanted for nothing, despite being a pariah because he was physically.
That's not true. Remember, he let us know there was one gift God gave him. You got probed by aliens too?
Apparently.
That's a universal sign.
Oh, I didn't
Spans
know
time.
that. Aliens. Because aliens.
Because of aliens.
But there
That
was
stuff's
no
in the
go
frickin'
without. And to your
pyramids.
point, I think that the Starks handily handily had the wherewithal to make it through. But yeah, at the end, I didn't feel like a soothsayer was necessarily. We see this time and time again. You don't go to an oracle to rule. You go to an oracle for insight. So there's a difference there. And I think once they got through all of those different exchanges and we were kind of at the end and things were rested and settled again, it's like, well, so now what are we going to do with you? You're physically incapable of doing some of the things that this terrain clearly demands, including protecting the wall.
Right.
Including feeding the masses, including lots of other things. So that's my 2 cents.
I would say this too. Like, as far as the ending goes, I wasn't like totally disappointed with it. I wasn't super thrilled with it either. But I do know like there's a huge portion of the population that watched that TV show that hated the ending, and they like petitioned to get like a new ending done and all that stuff because they were so disappointed in the ending of the TV show. What I did like though is I did like how I think it in the very first episode it sets up, or even the first season, it sets up the people to really like the Starks, and then in the end, one of the Starks becomes the king of the 6 kingdoms. The North separates, becomes their own kingdom again. Sansa Stark is the queen of the North. So you got 2 Starks ruling. You have Jon, who steps away from the throne, who's Stark and Targaryen. So he would have the most claim to it, but he's like, screw it, I'm out of here. Screw you guys, I'm going home. And he heads up to the north. And then you got Arya Stark, who she is probably one of my favorite characters next to Tyrion Lannister. But she's like, screw you guys, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go like take my assassin kick-ass bad self and go explore.
And she did save the world by killing the king of the White Walkers.
I mean, she was a little badass, but you know, and it's like, I think if you're a fan of the Starks, I think it was a decent ending for the Starks. I mean,
zero complaints.
For the Lannisters, though, you're exactly correct. You had a total downfall of the Lannisters. The dad died. The kids of Jaime and Cersei Lannister, they're killed. All of them were killed off. I don't remember what happened to Cersei. Did she die? I don't remember.
Lannister? Oh, yeah. But here's...
I don't remember what happened to her or Jaime.
They die at the end, falling down into a fiery death, and as the building's crumbling.
Oh, yeah. But
how do you not remember that? They were holding each other. It was a lovely scene.
Brother and sister.
But Tyrion Lannister...
Family love.
Tyrion, though, he ended up pretty well, being the kind of like an advisor. So, but not that like Brendan Stark needed an advisor, since he could see the future and alter the past and crap like that.
Here's what I would say is most interesting when you take that perspective. No, I think that's a good call. And that is something we've talked about multiple times on our show, the importance of community and or family. And in that instance, the Stark community or family was the strongest of them all. You didn't have Lannisters killing each other off so that they could be with another Lannister or some other person of power. What you had was Starks actually backing each other up in different ways, not always necessarily giving their own life or rights away to do so, but absolutely still understanding the importance of a community of a whole, not just a sister or a brother.
Yeah, I mean, were you going to say anything? I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
No, I don't want you to mistake my comments, though, that I think the Lannisters didn't have, some good qualities. And I know we had sort of this conversation on the side regarding the hottest men. At least that's what I was thinking I might talk about. And Lannister, like, take it or leave it. There's something great about someone where that if they want something, they're going to go and get it. It's none of this, let's wait 20 years and go through our pitfalls and whatever. He's like, if I want to bang my sister, I'm going to do it right now. Bang, bang, boom,
like a
bada
drum.
bing.
So here's the thing, like with Jon Snow, he was like a little bitch throughout the whole show.
Yeah,
I know.
And then she's like, is this your
and
first
what
time?
that
You know
means
nothing,
is a
Jon
female
Snow.
dog in heat.
Dude.
But yet he was a lucky bastard all the way through.
Literally.
No, he was lucky, but beyond that, he also he made his own luck. It wasn't actually luck. And truthfully, I would have loved a few grittier moments if he had any true grit throughout the show for him to really take the throne at the end and be a man, so to speak.
All right, so now we kind of like rehash the ending of Game of Thrones.
Spoiler alert! Oh,
HBO, feel free to
never drink and drive.
Call us up. We'll give you your round 2.
What is a story, like a TV series, a movie, or a book series, whatever, that you were disappointed in, and how it ended?
All right, do you want to go first?
I mean, I thought movies. That's a wide net.
It is.
So, I thought movies, and I'm gonna lay it to you straight. Citizen Kane.
Ooh, man, classic.
Classic, and it's highly regarded in the cinema world for being, number one in utilizing all different kinds of
Lighting.
skill set, lighting, tricks of the trade, if you will. And it was sort of that doorbuster that started a lot of those concepts for years to come. But the ending, he's on his deathbed and he is talking about his snow sled.
Yeah.
Rosebud.
Wah, wah, wah. I wanted it to be like his nanny that
Don't we all get there to some point,
did something. Yeah, it's called when you're... when it's over.
I don't know that it's that simple. I think it's you get to a point where you look back and you start to realize the things that actually bring you joy. And did you seek those out? And he was so busy searching for power and money, not the things that power and money can bring you. There is a difference there. And I think, for probably all of us, whether or not realize it, I definitely do. It's not the money I seek and I work so hard for. It's the pleasures that money can buy me. It is the things that affords, the comforts, not having to worry about rent or food or
It gives you
anything.
options.
There's that piece, but once you know what you like, you don't need options. You go, if you want elk, you go get elk. If you want bison, you go get bison.
I hear you, but I'm saying it's a movie. It's intended to be enticing to me visually. And I love movies that have a great point. Good Will Hunting, blah, blah, blah. Really emotional, really make me think. It didn't do any of that. I was just like, did you guys... Anyway, so that was...
The ending of Rosebud, or of Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane, I felt like, for being number one on when, all of your collegiate courses would tell you that's like highly regarded show. And my other one was Titanic.
Oh, man. So I actually was also going to mention Titanic.
How can you say Titanic has a terrible ending? We all know how it ends. Like there's a boat and it crashes.
The storyline of him dying.
Not the historical parts that we know happened. It's all the BS that was inserted into the cinematography.
We are lucky here in
I
Colorado.
I freaking hate that movie.
Oh, man. He was never a teenage girl. What the heck? I was.
Anyways, you must say we're lucky here in Colorado.
We have the Molly Brown house. We have a different sort of history based on an ability to relate to that movie. And I actually think it is a good movie. I actually enjoyed it. I think I went to the theater twice, not the average 5 times that a teenage girl did during that span. So their spending power is amazing. Do not forget it. But if it wasn't for Molly Brown and the history that has to fall through, man, let him live again. He's the one who did all the work. What the hell is going on here? Why's the guy got to die?
What a selfish bitch.
I mean,
they both could have lived, is the bottom line.
Yeah,
exactly.
It could have been like, hey, shout out Verstappen. I think you got penalized wrong. It could have been like Verstappen on Hamilton after this most recent Grand Prix where the cars stopped literally on top of him. And Verstappen's tire is rubbing on Hamilton's helmet. I mean, don't be a hater. Love Verstappen.
I would say this. I think the Titanic would have been a much better story if they actually went with the conspiracy of how a lot of the wealthy Americans that were opposed to the Federal Reserve were actually on the Titanic and died there.
So you want not a conspiracy, but the truth.
Yeah, I want the truth.
That would have made it a more
because
movie.
The funny part, like J.P. Morgan and some of the other people that were backing the Federal Reserve Bank. Which is there's a book called the Monster of Jekyll Island or something like that. I forget or something like that. But it's like where they hatched the idea the Federal Reserve Bank was off the coast of Georgia near Savannah. But in any case, and there's a book that's written about it, and then the bankers and stuff like that were backing the Federal Reserve, they were all part of like financiers to the Titanic, and they were supposed to be on the Titanic, but yet at the last moment, all of them
it's so weird that they all
conveniently all of a sudden
couldn't make it.
We're sick, couldn't make it, or whatever. And all the people who opposed the Federal Reserve, most of them happened to be on the Titanic, and then all of a sudden they just died.
Yeah,
I mean,
how did the richest people in America die getting off that boat?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just all coincidence.
Yeah,
It was just, there was a lot inserted.
yeah. But Elvis didn't die, by the way. So
His name is Jesse, I heard.
yeah, that's right.
Aliens.
Throwing that out there.
Dude, probes. Anybody want a bagel?
It's a good movie.
All right, Jesse, do you have one?
For me, I think the biggest, I don't watch as much TV as most people, so this is a little bit different. So for me, excluding reality, of course, the one that really left me wanting, was weighed and measured and left me wanting, was The Sopranos and the way that ended. And after The Sopranos' long history of success, I just wanted, here's the problem. I wanted an answer. And I wanted him to win. I would have loved for them just to have flown off as a family, even to Boca Raton, as so many of the mobsters did, of ages, and retire and live a good life. Not that he was a good person in so many ways, but the guy worked hard. And there is something I will always respect about somebody who has a moral code, who will do whatever it takes to get the job done, who will work that hard, who will do what he needs to do to get his daughter in school, take care of his son who's struggling, give his wife all the things she wants that she doesn't think she wants, and still get a chance to live a life. I would have liked to have seen them win at the end. I didn't want to see them questionably unknown. I wanted to see them win. I wanted to see that the good guy, who literally at the end of the story kills himself for his family, had won instead. And that's the one where, to this day, it's the only TV show I've ever watched, or movie, really, even. Titanic's a good example. I joke about the ending. It didn't really leave me wanting. I loved the way Suicide Kings ended, with the people who crossed the mob perishing and the mob getting their money back. I love so many things. I actually enjoyed the ending of Game of Thrones, but The Sopranos was the one I didn't care for, just because this is a family that worked so hard and that we got emotionally attached to. And that's a big piece of it. How do you get emotionally attached and not want them to win? I wanted them to win.
That's a good one. Would have been one of the ones I would probably mention, but
don't say Friends.
Oh, don't say Friends.
I'm kidding.
I would never say Friends.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
So I'm going to name two book series. So one book series is the Hunger Games series.
Okay.
So the first book was good. The second book was good. The third book, it seemed like the author, I forget what her name is, but she just seemed like she's just like, I'm done writing this.
Rosebud.
Yeah, it's just like, so you're like, well, I'll just take all the crap that they used from their first two books and their tournaments, and we'll just throw them here into the Capitol building, and then whatever, and blah. It's
Like
over.
regurgitated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like you had a really good series going. You probably could have made it into four books, but you just kind of copped out on that third book. And I just feel like it was a waste of time reading that third book, in my opinion. The other one I would say is, and this is because, maybe a little bit younger. I mean, obviously I was in my probably 20s, I think, maybe, when it came out. But the Harry Potter series, I think she did the same thing when it came to the last book and the Deathly Hallows. When it came to the very end, like after Voldemort was dead, it was kind of like, okay, well, now they're he's an adult, he's married to this person, they have kids now, and yeah, there we go. Like, all this time he wanted to grow up to be like an or whatever they were, to like fight against evil, and he's like whatever. He like has like a crappy job or whatever. I'm not sure what kind of job he has because it doesn't really go into it. It's just like fast forward 20 years. Like what happened during those 20 years? Like
Pants sniffer. Who knows?
Like there's other shit that happened, right? I mean, it wasn't just like they kill Voldemort and all the Death Eaters just disappeared. Like, oh yeah, we fucked up. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Wink.
Wink.
16.
Yeah, sorry. I'll have to edit out the F-bomb there, but
no, I agree with that.
I was really disappointed reading those two books. I like the ending of both of those books. And then if I had to go to TV series, since you already picked one of the ones I would have gone with, I would go with Weeds.
I never saw the
I
ending
never
of that.
finished it.
Weeds is like, I don't know, I found it to be a very entertaining and funny TV series. But I think, I'll tell you this much, like, I know I didn't like the ending, and it was so unforgettable. It was so forgettable. I don't even remember what happened. I just remember I don't like it.
So it was a Morlock 12.
Yeah, it was more like 12.
Damn. Hate the Morlock 12 ending.
But yeah, so those are a couple of the ones. I know you mentioned before you at dinner time you said you had 2 movies that you didn't like with endings. There was a second.
Oh, I also wanted to talk about Gone Girl. Do you recall that movie?
Yeah.
Is that the one where she's on a train or they're on a train?
She literally
Sets her
husband up, kidnaps herself.
Is that with Ben Affleck?
Yes.
Okay.
And at the end, it's all anyway, she comes back and then there's no accountability to her, like at all, in my mind. She gets away with it.
Kind of like Biden. Sorry. Had to go there.
Shrinkflation is not real. Oh, wait.
I was in the pool.
We can't.
That's the same thing.
We can't put that on Scotch Hour fake news. Shrinkflation is real. Never mind.
Yes. So that was one. And then also.
The pool's got hot water.
Pretty Woman.
Pretty woman.
She's like,
walking down the street.
I'm a hooker, and it's fine
woman.
if you mistreat me. I'm going to go and take the money you gave me, and then you can show up with roses, and everything will be fine. And I remember as a young girl, I guess,
Did you call BS on that? Did you like that?
No, I was all in. I'm like, see? You can be a hooker in Beverly Hills and be totally mistreated and drive a Ferrari and
Well, it was a Lotus, a Spree Turbo.
whatever, and everything works out because you're pretty.
Yeah, if she'd been driving a Ferrari, it should
Wah,
have worked out.
wah, wah. That's
Bullcrap?
bull crap. Yeah. But that was one where I now that I'm an old lady, I'm like, oof. No.
Yeah. We need
Sold you a
flowers.
Bad sale.
Yeah.
We need flowers.
thanks a lot.
And as Brian let us know last episode, kids go missing unless they bring Godiva chocolates.
Oof.
Good chocolates. You didn't say Godiva.
Oh, yeah.
You said Godiva. He says
totally Godiva.
He said good chocolate.
Ghirardelli are pretty good too, but I want my Godiva.
But who's to say like what you think is good chocolate to you is good chocolate to him?
The fact
We all agreed Whitman's from Walmart were wrong.
Yes.
he's like, have you ever had one of those ones where you take one bite and you just put it right back?
Throw it on the floor and stomp on it.
Because he's like, no, I'll put it back and just spit it out.
There's probably 1,000 movies out there that are like that, and you can, I think, piss and moan about a lot of movies, and it's all sort of a personal experience too.
Powder. Oh wait, never mind.
I've never seen that.
Either am I. I'm just kissing it in
Google
poorly.
it. Remember we were talking about Powder's like
Yeah.
Anyway, my movie's rough.
I need to go rehash that subject.
Yeah.
Any others that you have that come to your mind?
No, and actually thinking about this briefly, because we knew we'd have this as one of the options, but we didn't know which option would be tonight. And some of these topics we discussed are more interesting to each of us than the others, but it gives us an interesting perspective. One of the things I really consider about myself versus some is that I react different than a lot of people do. And what does or doesn't influence me. I am a very emotional person. I am the guy who cried when Iron Man died. I am the guy, and when I say cried, my kids were literally looking at me in the theater asking me if I was okay. And I'm like, yeah, I am. But man, this is powerful. And I do that, I did that during a point in John Wick and John Wick Chapter 2. I am very emotional in the sense there, but I don't lead that way. And I actually don't react that way with my own actions, only my emotions. So I love the fact that I'm given this opportunity to experience so many things, The Sopranos or Game of Thrones, John Wick, and it's not over yet. The Matrix. Didn't really cry during that one, but also still emotionally torn.
Have you seen the new trailer to The Matrix?
No, but man, talk about the new trailer for The Sopranos, All Saints of Jersey. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Saints of... we're butchering it.
Something Saints of...
Yeah. It looks...
Of Newark or something.
Newark, there it is. All Saints of Newark.
Yeah.
Looks amazing, and I'm sure that one will tear me too. But the piece that's different is I don't think I had any right. This is somebody else's art. That's how I really perceive it. And so I think I just naturally react very differently. I have been to the Denver Art Museum and seen pieces of art who have brought water to my eyes and seen different things. And especially when I was in Philadelphia and went to their art museum, looked at the Rocky statue and experienced so much there. Again, it's something that I wasn't crying per se, but I was so emotional that it brought water to my eyes, just the experience in life. And that's what TV or movies or books gives us, this opportunity. And it is an opportunity. It's a gift, if you will, whether or not we like the way a certain TV show or book series or movie series ends. It was still a gift by the creator that probably had, and let's say, face it, if you didn't like it, it had a reaction on you. You reacted to it emotionally, and the difference is that I just take that and I understand that, and I don't think it's how my life's going to play out. It's not how I would necessarily want my life to play out, although there's a pretty good series where I'm like, man, I want to be that guy on the other side. But I really just take it as a gift, and it is somebody's form of art. It is not necessarily my form of art, and I let go of it. And I think going through so much of life and reading so much Hemingway or Shakespeare, some of these classics that you get this ability to enjoy, you realize, like, you want to talk about poor ending, Romeo and Juliet, hated it, but at the same time, loved it. And with that, there's this piece of, man, this is just somebody else's art, and I don't have to like it to also love it.
True.
I would just like to put out there that I hear what you're saying, and I as well love art. I'm a supporter of the arts. I'm an athletic supporter as well. Anyway, that said, though, going to see The Toxic Avenger, I know exactly what I'm getting when I walk in. I'm not expecting any greatness movie. Going in to see the Titanic.
It was history to know his point.
Exactly. So how somebody can baffle society by inserting the least historic data that I have ever seen in my life and completely take a dump on what is historically accurate is beyond me. And then make billions of dollars doing it. The Toxic Avenger, on the other hand, high entertainment, high class, wonderfully written and executed, and in my mind is better than the latter because they do not sell me something that they aren't going to deliver. Whereas the Titanic, 100%.
And I think you're justified in that, because I think that's what a lot of people get when they come across a TV series or a movie or a book series and it ends terrible, or it just doesn't hold up to what the bill of goods are supposed to be. And I think people do get vested in it. And I get the whole fact of, like, yeah, it's art, and everyone has their taste or preference. They, of how to accept the art or not to accept it. But at the same time, if you are investing your time and your money into going and viewing this art, or taking your time investing and reading this piece of work, and it just doesn't live up to the bill of goods, right? Then I think a person is valid in being disappointed and not liking it. Or
it's like a chef.
Yeah.
Chef thus and so, world renowned for his apple cobbler. I fly to Philadelphia.
And
I
you
go
get
in.
McDonald's.
And
apple
he's
pie.
like, well, this is what I felt like making
Let's
today.
turn it around. Let me just turn this whole page around for 1 minute without thinking about it, because we don't have to think about the endings we hate. Tell me about an ending you loved.
Ending I loved. Close Encounters of, was it the Third Kind? I thought that was amazing. It gave me hope. It made me feel like I wasn't a complete banana sandwich, if you will.
All right, no, ending you loved.
There was 2 book series that I liked. I liked the ending to Mistborn. It's
Super popular.
It's the first 3 books. I mean, like it later grew into like a larger series, but the first 3 books in the series for Mistborn, that was really good. It had a good ending to it, I thought. And then the other one was the Inheritance Cycle. For some reason, I really like that.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's the Aragon books.
Oh, I've heard, yeah.
Oh, and there's actually another
Nothing
one.
like a dragon.
And there's another one that I loved how it ended. Sorry, a book series, which is I Am Number 4 series.
I Am Number 4.
Yeah, the movie came out, but it was a really poor imitation of what, or I guess interpretation of the book. But basically, you have these young kids that come over from another planet because their planet was destroyed by another alien race, and this alien race has come to Earth. And once
Looking for Brian.
And the little kids who came here first and everything, they all have like some kind of powers and stuff like that. And they become like the new guardians of Earth and stuff like that. And so each one of them are numbered 1 through 9. I believe it's 1 through 9. And the Mogolorians, or whatever, I forget how you pronounce them, but the bad aliens, they can only kill them one at a time. So they have to kill number 1 before they can kill number 2. And they have to kill number 2 before they can kill number 3.
Dun, dun, dun. What kind of brain trust came with that order of operations?
But the books or the series starts off with I Am Number 4 because 1 through 3 were already killed. Oof. So I think it's actually a really good series because as you go through, there's like a total of like I think like 7 or 8 books in the original series with a couple like novelettes in between. And you get to know about about each of the different numbers 1 through 9 and how like what they go through,
like their story.
Yeah, their story and how Lorien, I think that's the name of the planet that they're from, how they come across and the powers that gives the essence that gives them the powers to them actually gets planted here on Earth, and so
and then redheads occur.
Yes, and redheads occur with power. So the Earthlings become the new what's called they're called the Guard.
I just snorted.
Hey, it's no
Smell
worse
the
than
mic first.
no worse than Brian, right?
Damn,
Smelling the
Brian.
mic. But then they become like so you have like the Lorien Guard, which are like the originals, and then once the whatever happens here on Earth, that same kind of power gets translated into Earthlings, and so you have some Earth people who
Starseeds.
Yeah, you can call them Starseed, sure. That become like the new Guard as well. And then they're able to transport using these Lorien crystals. And like so places like Stonehenge is like a hot zone. And then like...
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool series. And I like the way it ended.
What ending do you like, Jesse?
I like a lot of endings, especially the way that
Especially a happy one.
especially the way that Marvel...
Happy ending.
The way the Marvel Universe ended. And so it's so interesting to me because a lot of the things that you guys spoke to all relate to one thing. Either you loved, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but one of the key factors in every episode, an episode you loved or a book you loved or a series of anything that you loved left you feeling hopeful. And for most people, the series that end that they don't like took that away. And it's interesting how impactful hope is that most people take for granted. A chance to win, an opportunity to be given a chance to win even.
Yeah, that's why Gone Girl, I did lose hope. I'm like, so everyone can just run around doing what they want? Like,
Right, but that's not necessarily the truth. You're just looking at it from the wrong lens. It's a lens for women to be like, dude, I can totally screw my man and still be okay.
It wasn't just screw. It
There's
was
hope.
like,
She like ruined the dude's life.
yeah, like murdered him.
No.
She like totally destroyed the guy's life.
Destroyed
and like,
it.
Yeah. And then everyone knows. And anyway.
And they go back together again.
all right.
Very hopeful for her. She can completely control him.
I think so. We're upon the hour mark here, and we have not decided who the winner is.
Oh, yes, we have. Wait. I mean, no, we haven't. Does anyone need a little more?
No.
I already know what my vote is.
That's a negative for Noah. He has taken away my hope.
Well, I don't get the ultimate say, but I am voting for the Oban.
All right. And why is that?
I still like the more, even though like the Cardhu has a nice bright apple up front with the lingering clove and stuff like that in the back. I just love the little bit more complexity of the Oban. It's a little bit more of a balanced palate from beginning to end. There's no real high spikes, in my opinion, on this bottle here, and I think overall I like it just slightly bit more. Actually, probably a lot more. But
All right, Marissa, what are your tasting note finishes?
So I am a novice. I appreciate the lessons you have provided me tonight. Even at dinner, I think we talked about some of that, and I will continue to use that in my life. To be honest, I did as well feel like the quick satisfaction of the apple in the Cardhu and something that was identifiable immediately. It was kind of a low-hanging carrot, so it was a quick fix, if you will. However, longevity, it started to taste like soap to me, if that's that may be a poor description. But the sweetness, it's kind of like I became entitled to it, and then once I was no longer tasting that, there really wasn't a whole lot else there. Whereas the Oban, I feel, is consistent. It's far more robust, and I think that it is longer lasting. And to be honest, it's just more badass, if I can say that.
yeah, you could totally say that.
It's, you've got your candy ass, and then you've got your badass. And so you do you. I'm feeling like potentially the Cardhu, though, if you wanted to have a mixed drink of some kind, not to pull the girl card, but if you were entertaining, perhaps, it might be a great one because it does already bring a lot to the table that you don't have to work at with mixers or any of that. So there.
So a good point here. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, though.
That's okay.
The good point here with the Cardhu, that's the main part of Johnny Walker.
At one point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that by you talking about how it could be a good mixer and stuff like that, that's probably,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that just plays into how it was used with Johnny Walker and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Good
So
call.
I think Test of Time, which is what Game of Thrones is about. We just talked about that. The Starks, how they persevere through ups, downs. They do not die on the mountain. I'm going to go with the Oban.
All right.
Wow, that was surprising because I honestly thought you were going to go with the Cardhu because
I did too.
At the beginning,
Really?
you were like, yeah, because at the beginning she
As
was
time
like,
went on, though,
I go with the Cardhu. No, I'm kidding.
really?
The Cardhu is decent. Here's what I will say after enjoying them for an hour. The Cardhu is decent, but it actually reminds me a lot of the female Targaryen from the movie. She comes in hot, and at the end she goes out just crazy as shit. Like, what just happened? I'm going to kill all my dragons trying to win a fight that doesn't matter to rule the world when I can just, again, like, why do you need all this power? Go be happy somewhere. Go find a place. You can choose pretty much any place on the planet and own that and be happy, and no one's going to mess with you, your dragons, and you get to live happily ever after. Nope, not good enough. Have to go crazy. And that's kind of how the Cardhu is to me. This wonderful, sweet start, like, oh, hey, hi, I see you. You're in Buckhorn Exchange wearing is that a suede skirt? You look good, right? And hey, come on over. You look pretty. Smell like apples. I like you.
girl.
And then you start to really look at him like, man, you got them crazy eyes. What is up with that? And how many jobs have you had besides the nose job? And then the next thing is just like, damn, son. I'm burnt. And it's good, but the finish is so mild, you're like running out the door before you go down in flames. Now, the Oban Nights Watch, that's a whole different story. The Bay Reserve, it doesn't start out as hot and crazy, but it still has a full-bodied experience. And what I love about it is I do like, it's not a sweet cherry, but it is a dark cherry and orange peel nose aroma, followed with that. And anyone who knows me and has seen me on any of these shows knows charred oak. Oak is one of my favorite flavors. I want it. I need it. I love it in a wine or especially a Scotch.
Charred wood.
Yeah, man. I like the charred wood, man.
Don't make me do it.
Yeah. Just
did.
Man, if you're only using it to get warm, you haven't gone far enough. So you better keep using it till you burn it. And then, the finish. This is where, again, it's like great, is that coastal salt. We've talked about the Oban Distillery in the bay there and how that salty flavor is something that it finishes so well. It's not overpowering. It's, this would have gone great with the elk or the bison.
Yeah, I think it would.
I would have gone phenomenal with the elk or the bison that we had at the Buckhorn Exchange this evening.
Makes me wish I would have gotten the Oban 14.
I mean, a Highland Park 18, you can't go wrong with.
Exactly.
We got a third vote for the Oban Bay Reserve, 3-1.
No, 3-0.
I mean, we don't have Brian's. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, still no Brian. He's still getting probed. So 3-0 for the Oban Bay Reserve, and
it's gonna have to run the charts.
Dude, that's why I corked it right away. I'm like, stay good. And the Cardhu Falls. So Cardhu, no moss.
House Targaryen.
House Targaryen. We already knew that.
The Night's Watch,
as we expected. Night's Watch makes it one more step. And we're not saying this, the show of these Scotch is going to end like that HBO show, by the way.
I will say this, though. I mean, when I drink the Oban, like if you've ever spent any time on the coastline or whatever, like where you're like by the ocean and you have that sea salt air and stuff like that, every time I drink the Oban, I always it reminds me of like either being when I'm on the coastline in California or when I was in Jersey or even my time in Hawaii, just having that sea salt air, and it just kind of just washes all that kind of right back in,
Yeah, crisp.
Yeah,
not necessarily clean, but crisp.
All right, so we know that one is going on to round 2. The Cardhu is free for drinking, I guess, here on 4th. So it doesn't have to be all down tonight, but I mean, if we want, yes, that one is available. Oban goes back into the vault for round 2. And I guess we'll go ahead and we'll start off with our close, I guess. Now,
here's a question. We talked about round 2. Now, with the way the bracket's working, is this really going to round 2, or is round 2 in the Royal Lacknagar versus the Talisker?
Yeah,
so House Baratheon versus...
Well, we got round... Basically, we're still doing round 1.
So 2 teams.
Right. So the next one will be Royal Lochnagar versus Talisker.
That's still part of round 1.
Right. So I just wanted to make sure, because there's no way this is lasting 8 rounds, man.
That's a sheet.
No. So we have to go through the first 8. So that's the first 4. So I think in October is when we start the second round.
And that's when this baby will come back out.
Exactly.
Jon Snow, we will see you again.
Oh.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
I drink and I know things.
That's Lannister.
I know.
That was that in 2 weeks?
Oh, man. Lagavulin is
3 weeks.
in 3 weeks.
That's going to be a tough one. Okay, so anything else that we need to address before we start up our close?
No, fantastic evening, great dinner. Thank you to our guest host for being part of this show. Really enjoyed your company.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. And I don't know, maybe Brian, you'll appreciate Brian's presence a little more, the microphone sniffing and whatnot after this show.
I mean, you were assuming he comes back from the probe.
Who knows when he gets back from the aliens?
Yeah. Still mad you messed up Todzilla.
Anything you want to say in the close there?
I just would really encourage that if anyone has anything to say in response to some of these conversations we've had, I really want to hear some other, ideas or some other I want to know if you have another lens that I haven't necessarily thought of, even about this Scotch. Being a novice, it's fairly intimidating, especially because I consider this, I know this sounds horrible, but I feel like it's a man's world, the Scotch world, at least in my 41 years. So this was very intimidating, and I would love to hear if anyone's had those experiences or if they think that that's a whole bunch of BS and they're like, no, actually it's just you, Marissa. And at that point, I will also learn that it's just me and maybe I need to expand my horizons. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on and filling in for Brian. We greatly appreciate that. I knew you'd be a hit. I think you did a wonderful job, especially even with you being a novice. You did a phenomenal job.
I'm a novice, but thanks. Pinch hitting.
And, yeah, pinch hitting there. And really, I would say I think it is a stereotype that Scotch might be a men's world. But if you start looking into the social media world, you'll start to see that there's a lot of women that actually have their own shows or write-ups that talk about Scotch too. So, and in fact, I think the other day I was looking on Twitter. There is a lady that just became a head of her distillery. And so,
for some reason, I just get this foghorn leghorn feel off of it. Like a woman doing that is also chews tobacco and is out back cutting logs and she's all insane, muscles and. I don't like it when my hair gets wet in the rain, so I feel like...
It's kind of like a thing about women who smoke cigars.
Yeah. It's kind of badass.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
totally different from not in badass women.
Anything else we want to add on before I do the final wrap-up, I guess?
No, we're going to start this final wrap-up. To be or not to be? That is the question. All right, Noah.
I think you're actually going to hold it in your hand and do that, man.
Oh, I did.
Wait, when did you pick up the Macallan?
Oh, shoot, Loops.
And what do you want to start your wrap up with, Marissa?
I don't know. Wow, that was awesome. I feel like I'm watching my parents fight.
No, I think it's awesome that you picked it up. I'm like,
hey, we know this can only, last so long, and there can only be one. There can be only one. So, yeah,
that's awesome that you picked it up, man.
Gotta have a surprise Scotch in every show.
Yeah, I think it's actually really a great surprise because I was gonna get it, and then I had something that occurred to where I couldn't pick it up, and seeing that you got it, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a future tasting. We will enjoy it.
Money is no object.
Scotch
Hour.
Life is
great.
And so with that being said, for those of you who do watch our podcast, we want to thank you. And once again, this is just as much your podcast as it is ours. And so as Marissa was saying, please leave some comments for us. I think it helps out our other viewers when other people leave comments. It gets everybody involved in our small little community. And we do take... any advice that you guys give us? We've worked on the lights, we worked on the volume. So
negative space.
We worked on the negative space.
Well, yeah, and I think that it's not just that; it's bring your opinion to the table. We just talked about movies. We just talked about some epic endings and beginnings, some amazing Scotch. Don't talk to me about the lighting if you don't care about the lighting.
Also,
talk to me about other stuff.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to see what some of our listeners think it was what series that they thought were had terrible endings, or
someone may be Titanic's the best movie on the planet. Fight me.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'll be like, Brian, guess what you get to do when you return? Fight this person that loves Titanic.
Brian, you got to defend her honor when you come back.
Dude, you are so jacked.
He's like, my butter.
Man,
sorry.
Yeah. And also, help us find Brian. We don't know how long he's going to be missing. We thought he was already returned. Turns out we got a marble cake, but we don't know where Brian is.
So if you do come across Brian, please contact Scotch Hour so we can so we can finally locate them.
Or tweet
Or
Scotch
tweet.
Hour.
Yeah, you can tweet us. You can message us on Instagram. You can email us at jesse@scotchhour.net or noah@scotchhour.net. And then we are also on YouTube and Rumble for our audio. We're on Podbean, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Audible Podcast, and Amazon Music. And with that, thank you, everyone, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening. And once again, thank you for being our guest host, Marissa.
Thanks so much, you guys. Appreciate
Cheers.
it.
All right, cheers.
Oh, shoot.
Wrong glass. I did it, Brian.
All right, pick up the right glass.
Okay. Cheers again.
Cheers.
Oh,
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a Patreon member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.